Over 60 and dealing with numbness in your feet? That strange, dull feeling, the tingling, the lack of balance when you stand up or walk across the room. Many people assume it's just aging, something they have to live with. But what if that numb feeling isn't permanent at all? What if your feet are simply not getting the support they need? Here's what most seniors are never told. Numb feet are often linked to how well your nerves are nourished and how effectively blood carries nutrients to the lower body. When that support weakens, sensation fades. But when it improves, many people notice a difference in how their feet feel, sometimes sooner than they expect. In this video, I'm going to share 2 simple vitamins that doctors often discuss when it comes to nerve comfort and circulation in adults over 60. These are not trendy supplements, not expensive formulas, and not miracle cures. They are basic nutrients that play a quiet but important role in how your feet feel every day. If numbness, tingling, or weak sensation has been affecting your walking, your balance, or your confidence, stay with me. Understanding these 2 vitamins could help you support healthier feeling feet again, starting with what your body may be missing right now. After the age of 60, many people begin to notice changes in their feet that feel confusing and frustrating. Sensations like numbness, tingling, burning, or a dull, cotton-like feeling often appear gradually. At first, it may seem harmless, just a little stiffness in the morning or reduced sensation after sitting too long, but over time, these feelings can become more noticeable, affecting balance, walking confidence, and even sleep. Many seniors are told this is simply a normal part of aging, but that explanation leaves out what is actually happening inside the body. Nerves in the feet are some of the longest and most delicate nerves in the body. Because of their length, they are especially sensitive to changes in circulation, nutrition, and inflammation. As we age, the systems that support these nerves do not work as efficiently as they once did. Blood vessels become less flexible, circulation slows, and the delivery of oxygen and nutrients to the lower extremities becomes weaker. When nerves are undernourished, they struggle to send clear signals to the brain, which often shows up as numbness or altered sensation. Another major change after 60 is how the body manages inflammation. Low-grade inflammation becomes more common with age, even in people who feel generally healthy. This type of inflammation does not always cause obvious swelling or pain, but it can irritate nerve tissue and the protective covering around nerves. When nerves remain irritated for long periods, their signals become distorted. Instead of accurately reporting touch, temperature, or pressure, they may send weak, delayed, or confusing messages, leading to numbness or tingling in the feet. Blood sugar regulation also plays an important role, even for people who are not diabetic. As the body ages, it becomes less efficient at handling glucose. Small spikes in blood sugar that occur repeatedly over time can damage tiny nerve fibers and the small blood vessels that feed them. This damage often develops slowly and silently. Many people do not realize it is happening until sensation in the feet begins to change. This is why numb feet are common in adults with prediabetes or insulin resistance, even if they have never been diagnosed with diabetes. Mechanical stress adds another layer. Decades of standing, walking, and wearing shoes that lack proper support can compress nerves in the feet and ankles. Over time, this compression increases nerve sensitivity and reduces signal quality. When the feet finally rest, especially at night, circulation patterns change and irritated nerves may become more noticeable. This explains why numbness or tingling often feels worse in the evening or when lying down. Nutrient absorption is another factor that is often overlooked. After 60, the digestive system absorbs certain vitamins and minerals less efficiently. Nutrients that are essential for nerve health, particularly those involved in nerve signaling and repair, may become insufficient even when a person eats a balanced diet. When nerves lack the nutrients they need, they cannot maintain healthy communication with the brain, and sensation begins to fade. It is important to understand that numb feet rarely have a single cause. In most seniors, numbness develops because several small problems overlap. Slower circulation, chronic inflammation, metabolic changes, mechanical pressure, and reduced nutrient availability combine to create a stressful environment for nerves. This is why quick solutions often fail. Pain relievers may temporarily mask discomfort, but they do not improve how nerves function or how well they are supported. The encouraging truth is that nerves are living tissue. Even after 60, they can respond positively when their environment improves. When circulation becomes more efficient, inflammation decreases, and nutrients reach nerve tissue more consistently. Many people notice gradual improvements in how their feet feel. This does not usually happen overnight, but it can begin sooner than expected when the right support is in place. Understanding why numb feet become common after 60 is the first step toward meaningful improvement. Instead of seeing numbness as an unavoidable sign of aging, it helps to see it as feedback from the body. It is a signal that nerves are under stress and need better support. When that support is provided consistently, sensation, comfort, and confidence in movement can slowly begin to return. When people understand numb feet as feedback rather than failure, their approach begins to change. Instead of trying to force sensation back or simply ignoring the problem, they start paying attention to what their nerves are asking for. Nerves do not respond well to pressure, panic, or extremes. They respond to consistency, nourishment, and a calmer internal environment. This is especially true in the feet, where circulation already has to work harder against gravity. One of the reasons numbness can feel so discouraging is that it develops quietly. There is rarely a single moment when sensation disappears. It fades little by little. Because this process is gradual, many people adapt without realizing it. They may walk more carefully, rely on walls or furniture for balance, or avoid uneven surfaces. Over time, these small adjustments can reduce confidence in movement and increase the risk of falls, even when pain is minimal. Another challenge is that numbness often fluctuates. Some days the feet feel relatively normal, while on other days they feel heavy, disconnected, or oddly foreign. This inconsistency can make people doubt whether improvement is possible. In reality, this fluctuation is a sign that nerves are still active. They are not dead or permanently damaged. They are struggling, sending mixed signals as conditions inside the body change from day to day. The nervous system is deeply connected to circulation and metabolism. When blood flow improves even slightly, nerves receive more oxygen and nutrients. When inflammation calms down, nerve coverings become less irritated. When blood sugar remains more stable, nerve fibers experience less chemical stress. Each of these changes on its own may seem small, but together they create a noticeable difference in how nerves behave. It is also important to understand that numbness does not always mean complete loss of sensation. Often it is a distortion of sensation. The nerves are still sending signals, but those signals are weak, delayed, or unclear. This is why some people describe numb feet as feeling thick, padded, or wrapped. The information reaching the brain is incomplete. Improving nerve health is about improving signal quality, not just turning sensation on or off. Sleep plays a role as well. During deep sleep, the body performs much of its repair work. However, if circulation is poor or inflammation is high, nerves do not fully benefit from this repair window. Instead of waking up refreshed, some people notice numbness or tingling first thing in the morning. This can feel discouraging, but it also highlights how closely nerve health is tied to daily habits that influence sleep quality and circulation. Another overlooked factor is how the brain adapts to ongoing nerve signals. When numbness or tingling persists for a long time, the brain can become accustomed to abnormal input. This adaptation can make it harder for sensation to normalize, even when conditions improve. Gentle, repeated support helps retrain this communication over time. This process requires patience, but it is one of the reasons gradual improvement is still possible later in life. Many seniors are surprised to learn that nerve tissue remains adaptable well into older age. While nerves regenerate more slowly after 60, they do not lose their ability to respond. What they lose is efficiency. This means they need clearer signals, steadier nourishment, and fewer obstacles to repair. When those needs are met, even partially, sensation can begin to change. It is also worth noting that fear can unintentionally worsen numbness. Worrying about falling or losing mobility can cause people to tense their muscles and limit movement. Tension restricts blood flow and increases nerve compression. Calm, confident movement, even at a slower pace, supports circulation and helps nerves feel safer. Safety is an important signal to the nervous system. Numb feet are rarely a sign that nothing can be done. More often, they are a sign that the body has been operating under strain for too long. Addressing that strain requires a shift away from quick fixes and toward daily support. This includes habits that improve circulation, reduce inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, and supply nerves with the nutrients they rely on. Understanding these mechanisms sets the stage for practical action. When you know why numbness develops after 60, the focus naturally shifts toward what can be done every day to support healthier nerve signaling. Improvement is not about forcing sensation back. It is about creating conditions where nerves are no longer constantly stressed, allowing them to communicate more clearly and comfortably again. Once circulation, inflammation, and blood sugar patterns are understood, it becomes clear why numb feet after 60 should not be seen as a fixed condition. These systems are not static. They change every day based on how the body is treated. When the internal environment remains stressful, nerves stay irritated. When that environment improves, nerves often respond even if they have been struggling for years. One of the most important ideas to grasp is that nerves are not isolated wires. They are living tissue that constantly interacts with blood vessels, muscles, and the immune system. When blood flow improves, nerves receive more oxygen. When inflammation decreases, nerve coverings become less reactive. When blood sugar stays more stable, nerve fibers experience less chemical stress. Each of these improvements reduces the noise in nerve signaling, making sensation clearer and more comfortable. This is why numbness often feels different at different times of the day. In the morning, circulation may still be slow after hours of inactivity. During the day, movement may improve blood flow temporarily. In the evening, changes in circulation and nervous system activity can make numbness or tingling more noticeable again. These shifts do not mean the condition is worsening. They reflect how sensitive nerves are to their environment. Many people mistakenly believe that numbness means permanent nerve loss. In reality, numbness often means the nerve signals are weak or distorted, not absent. The nerves are still there, but they are struggling to communicate clearly. This distinction matters because weak signals can often be strengthened when conditions improve. Complete nerve loss is far less common than people fear. Another factor that affects numb feet after 60 is reduced sensory input. As people become less active or more cautious with movement, the feet receive fewer varied sensations. This lack of stimulation can make nerve signaling less precise. Gentle, regular movement helps maintain healthy communication between the feet and the brain. The goal is not intense activity, but consistent, comfortable motion that encourages blood flow and sensory feedback. The nervous system is also closely linked to emotional state. Chronic worry, frustration, or fear can heighten nerve sensitivity. When the brain remains in a state of alert, it amplifies incoming signals, including those from irritated nerves. This can make numbness feel heavier or more unsettling. Calm routines and predictable habits help signal safety to the nervous system, allowing it to turn down unnecessary alarm responses. Another overlooked contributor is muscle tension. Tight muscles in the calves, ankles, or feet can compress nerves and blood vessels. Over time, this compression interferes with signal transmission. Gentle stretching and relaxed movement reduce this pressure, improving both circulation and nerve comfort. This is especially important after long periods of sitting or standing. Hydration also plays a subtle role. Dehydration thickens the blood slightly and reduces circulation efficiency. Even mild dehydration can affect how well nutrients reach nerve tissue. Maintaining proper hydration supports smoother blood flow and helps nerves function more comfortably. It is important to recognize that improvement does not usually happen in a straight line. Nerve recovery often comes in waves. Some days feel better, others feel unchanged, and occasionally symptoms may flare briefly. These fluctuations do not mean progress has stopped. They are part of how the nervous system adapts. Patience and consistency are key. One encouraging sign of progress is not the complete disappearance of numbness, but a change in how it behaves. Numb areas may feel smaller, sensation may return intermittently, balance may feel slightly steadier. These subtle shifts indicate that nerve signaling is becoming more organized. Over time, these small changes can add up to meaningful improvement. Another positive sign is increased tolerance. Activities that once felt uncomfortable may become easier. Standing for longer periods, walking with more confidence, or feeling the ground more clearly under the feet are all indicators that nerve communication is improving. It is also important to understand when professional guidance is needed. Sudden worsening numbness, rapid spreading of symptoms, muscle weakness, or loss of coordination should always be evaluated by a healthcare provider. Daily support strategies work best alongside appropriate medical care, not as a replacement for it. Numb feet after 60 are not a verdict, they are a message. That message points to circulation, inflammation, metabolic balance, and daily habits that influence nerve health. When those areas are supported consistently, nerves often respond in ways that surprise people, even later in life. By understanding how these systems work together, the focus naturally shifts away from quick fixes and towards steady, daily support. This approach respects how nerves heal and acknowledges the body's capacity to adapt. With the right conditions in place, sensation, comfort, and confidence in movement can gradually improve, creating a foundation for healthier, more comfortable feet over time. Once daily foundations like gentle movement, proper footwear, circulation support, and reduced irritation are in place, the nervous system begins to receive a very different message. Instead of constant stress, compression, and neglect, the nerves start experiencing stability. This shift is subtle, but it matters deeply. Nerves are extremely sensitive to their environment, and when that environment becomes calmer, their behavior changes. At this stage, many people start noticing small but meaningful differences. The feet may feel warmer more often. Sensation may come and go instead of feeling permanently dull. Balance may feel slightly steadier when standing or walking. These changes are easy to dismiss, but they are important signs that nerve signaling is becoming more organized. The nervous system does not usually heal in dramatic leaps. It heals through quiet adjustments that build over time. One reason this process works is that consistent daily habits reduce mixed signals to the nerves. When one day includes movement and support, but the next day brings long periods of sitting, cold feet, or poor footwear, nerves remain confused. Consistency removes that confusion. When the same supportive signals arrive every day, nerves can adapt. They begin to expect safety instead of stress. The relationship between nerves and blood flow becomes especially important here. Improved circulation does not just nourish nerves physically, it also changes how they behave electrically. Well-oxygenated nerve tissue conducts signals more smoothly. This reduces the random firing that often causes tingling, buzzing, or numb sensations. Over time, clearer signaling means the brain receives more accurate information from the feet. Inflammation also begins to settle when daily foundations are maintained. Reduced inflammation around nerve tissue lowers sensitivity. This does not mean pain or numbness vanishes instantly, but it does mean the volume of those signals begins to drop. Many people notice that nighttime discomfort becomes less intense or shorter in duration. This is another sign that nerves are calming rather than constantly reacting. Another important change involves muscle tone. When daily movement and gentle stretching are consistent, muscles in the feet and lower legs become less tense. Reduced muscle tension decreases pressure on nerves and blood vessels. This creates more physical space for nerves to function properly. Over time, this can improve both sensation and comfort. The brain also plays a role in this phase. As nerve signals become more predictable and less alarming, the brain reduces its protective responses. Pain and numbness are partly protective signals. When the brain senses that the environment is safer, it stops amplifying those signals. This is why calm routines and predictable habits can make such a difference, even when the physical changes seem small. It is common for people to become impatient during this stage. Because improvements are gradual, it may feel like progress is slow, but nerve tissue heals more slowly than muscle or skin, especially in the lower extremities. What matters is direction, not speed. If symptoms are less intense, less widespread, or less disruptive than before, the process is working. It is also important to understand that occasional bad days do not erase progress. Weather changes, stress, poor sleep, or prolonged inactivity can temporarily increase symptoms. This does not mean nerves are damaged again. It means they are sensitive. Returning to supportive habits usually brings symptoms back down. Another positive sign is improved confidence. As sensation becomes clearer, people tend to move more naturally. This improves circulation further, creating a positive cycle. Movement supports nerves, and healthier nerves support movement. Over time, this cycle becomes self-reinforcing. Many seniors worry that starting late means results will be limited. In reality, nerves remain responsive throughout life. While recovery may be slower after 60, responsiveness does not disappear. The nervous system is adaptable, especially when it receives consistent, non-threatening input. It is also important to stay realistic. Daily support strategies do not replace medical care when it is needed. Sudden worsening symptoms, spreading numbness, weakness, or coordination problems should always be evaluated by a healthcare professional. Daily habits work best as a foundation that supports overall nerve health alongside appropriate medical guidance. When all these elements come together, numb feet are no longer something to fight or fear. They become a signal that guides better daily care, supporting circulation, reducing irritation, nourishing nerves, and maintaining consistent habits change the internal environment in which nerves operate. Over time, this environment allows nerves to communicate more clearly with the brain. Sensation may not return all at once, but comfort, stability, and confidence often improve step by step. This is how lasting change begins, quietly, steadily, and through daily actions that respect how the nervous system truly works. Once gentle stimulation and evening routines become part of daily life, the nervous system begins to shift out of survival mode. This change is not dramatic, but it is powerful. Nerves that were constantly on edge start receiving a steady message that the body is no longer under threat. This sense of safety is essential for nerve recovery, especially after 60, when repair processes move more slowly and require consistency rather than intensity. At this stage, many people notice that their symptoms change character. Numbness may feel less heavy. Tingling may become softer or shorter in duration. Burning sensations may no longer dominate the night. These changes can feel subtle, but they indicate that nerve signaling is becoming more organized. The nervous system is not designed to switch from irritated to calm overnight. It adjusts gradually as conditions improve. One reason this shift happens is that regular gentle stimulation retrains how nerves communicate with the brain. For a long time, the brain may have been receiving distorted or incomplete signals from the feet. In response, it amplified those signals to protect the body. When calm, predictable input is provided daily, the brain begins to trust the information it receives. As trust increases, the brain reduces its protective amplification, and uncomfortable sensations soften. Circulation continues to play a critical role during this phase. Warmth, movement, and relaxation improve blood flow at a time when the body is naturally preparing for rest and repair. Better circulation means more oxygen and nutrients reach nerve tissue overnight. This supports the slow rebuilding of nerve fibers and helps stabilize signaling. Many people find that their feet feel more comfortable in the morning after several days or weeks of consistent evening care. Another important change involves sleep quality. When nerve irritation decreases, sleep becomes deeper and less fragmented. Better sleep reduces inflammation throughout the body, which further supports nerve comfort. This creates a reinforcing cycle. Calmer nerves improve sleep, and better sleep helps calm nerves even more. It is also common for people to become more aware of their feet as sensation improves. This awareness can feel strange at first. Areas that were once numb may feel sensitive or unfamiliar. This does not mean the nerves are worsening. It means communication is returning. With time, this heightened awareness usually settles into more normal sensation as the nervous system continues to adjust. Patience is essential during this stage. Nerve recovery is not linear. Some days will feel better than others. Stress, poor sleep, cold temperatures, or long periods of inactivity can temporarily increase symptoms. These fluctuations are normal and do not indicate failure. Returning to supportive routines usually brings symptoms back down. It is also important to avoid the temptation to push too hard. When improvement begins, some people try to accelerate progress with aggressive massage, intense exercise, or extreme heat. These approaches can overstimulate nerves and increase irritation. Nerves respond best to gentle, steady input. More is not better. Consistency is. Hydration and nutrition continue to matter as well. Proper fluid intake supports circulation, and balanced meals help stabilize blood sugar and reduce inflammation. These background factors quietly influence how well nerves respond to daily routines. When they are neglected, progress may slow. Confidence often begins to return during this phase. As feet feel more stable and predictable, people move with less hesitation. This natural movement further improves circulation and reduces mechanical stress on nerves. The body begins to trust itself again, and that trust feeds directly into nerve comfort. It is important to remain attentive to warning signs. Sudden worsening numbness, spreading symptoms, muscle weakness, or changes in coordination should always be evaluated by a healthcare professional. Daily support routines are meant to complement medical care, not replace it. For many adults over 60, this phase represents a turning point. Nerve pain or numbness no longer feels mysterious or uncontrollable. Instead, it becomes something that responds to care. While complete resolution may take time, meaningful improvement in comfort, balance, and confidence is often achievable. By continuing gentle stimulation, supporting circulation, and maintaining calm daily habits, the nervous system is given the conditions it needs to stabilize. In that environment, nerves are no longer constantly reacting. they begin to communicate more clearly, allowing sensation to normalize gradually and making everyday movement feel safer and more comfortable again.